Okay, Dan Brown here, Bloomberg Digital, and I'm just going to do a little audio test on some of the different microphone solutions. So, a lot of our clients are now actually using video in marketing. Fantastic. But it always sounds horrible if you don't have some sort of microphone solution. I'm going to show you what that sounds like right now. Okay, so this is what it sounds like without a microphone plugged in. Now, I'm going to back up a little bit. Boston, keep me in frame here. As I get further away from this phone, you can tell that the audio sounds horrible. Why? What's happening is that the microphone can't hear me as well, so it increases its amplification. It's called gain. And the gain says, I can't hear him very well, so it listens harder, but then you hear all the echoes. As I get close to the phone, it sounds okay. Now, I think probably the volume of my voice right now might be okay compared to what it might be in a dental office with a drill in the background, or if I was very soft-spoken. Because if I'm very soft-spoken, and some people are, then it's not gonna pick it up very well. I'm not that person, but that's because I do a lot of public speaking and I project. But even at a strong voice, I'm back here. I'd like to talk about my experience at ABC Family Dentistry. These guys are fantastic. Lower voice. I'd like to talk about my experience here at ABC Family Dentistry. It just doesn't sound as good as this. So you see the difference. Now I can have my normal voice. I can walk back here. I can keep walking. I can keep walking. I can keep walking. And the volume level always stays the same. So we like the idea of a remote microphone. This is remote. It's wireless. Problems with wireless microphones is the one I'm using right now is this little guy. Brand wise, I don't even know. You know, it's one of these off Amazon. I'll put the link in here. It's like $40. Sometimes I get them for 25. Sometimes they're 44. So not bad. I'll show you what it looks like. Comes with a nice little case, charging case. Charging case opens up. There are two microphones in here. The two microphones are, connected to a single, what we call dongle. The dongle plugs into your phone. If you don't have, this one is particularly for Android or USB-C. If you don't have a USB-C port, you got to get their little piece that plugs into the iPhone. So it's an adapter. I'm shooting on an iPhone, and that's what this thing looks like. So it's a little adapter that goes in here. Now I've got one connection, two connections, and then I've got two wireless connections here. When you plug it in, sometimes your phone says, I don't recognize this device. Is it okay? You authorize it. I've had 3 clients now who have said, I can't get this thing to work. One of the reasons is when they first get this, these microphones have a little piece of tape on the bottom, so they haven't charged. You got to pull the tape off, so it goes into the charging case. You'll see because the light comes on. So, I don't know. Think about this. Your time is valuable. You're about to put in 15, 20, 30 minutes, possibly even a full hour, doing a recorded message only to find out mid the recording something went wrong, which has happened to us. Boston, this happened to us a week and a half ago. Did a great interview, had a doctor down here in this exact room. One of these microphones started to go staticky, and it was disastrous, except I did have another microphone as a reserve. You don't want that. So I'm going to go over some other microphone options. Okay, the next solution is the Rode microphone. Now, this microphone operates independently. It's connected to a receiver. This is one of the transmitters. I have the dual microphone set up, and it's kind of convenient. I can put this in a cradle. I can put the cradle and the wand in my hand, and I look like a news interviewer. I can interview people, and I've done this. Walked around, what did you think of this? It's a great solution, except I've seen when I hand people the wand, they say, yeah, so this is really good. I was over there, and then I came back over here, and that's my friend over there. And sometimes when they hold it out like this, you get these varying audio levels, and that's not ideal. So if I do interview somebody with this, I hold my microphone right next to me and I hold the microphone right next to them, which is a bit irritating. Here's what it sounds like when I just clip it. Sounds really good. I can back up. I can walk far away. Microphone's got good range. If I go too much further and I have a obstacle between me, doubt it'll happen right here. But right about here, sometimes it'll cut out if I'm a little further away. The range on these is pretty good, and you're not going to have that kind of circumstance that often. So I think they're really good, except they're not that cheap, and they're pro quality, so they shouldn't be inexpensive. And there are different connections that you need to, and I'm going to show you a picture of what those look like, where you've got the receiver plugged into a cable that plugs into the phone conversion cable for lightning. And anyways, this is just a little bit sloppy, not very easy. If you see what it looks like on the phone that's recording me right now, it looks ridiculous. So there are pros and cons to it. I do like that I can have multiple receivers, and I can also plug in a lavalier microphone to this. I can also set this right here in front of me. So say the patient is doing a testimonial, I could put this right in front of them, and it works pretty decent, unless, of course, the patient's back here and talks a little bit softly, and then it kind of defeats the purpose. It would still be better than using the phone itself, and you can aim it up a little bit. You can plug it on here. It's got a blue LED, which you can turn off if you know how to do the settings, but then you don't know if it's on and if it's recording. Not ideal. You could put the lavalier mic where you plug it in here. There's a little hole right there that works really well. And then have this clipped to their belt or hanging off the desk. And now you got a little mic up here. It's just another thing to buy. And it's another thing to go wrong. So that's the Rode system. And now we're going to do the next one. Okay, so on the Rode system, I told you there were a bunch of wires. So these are the two receivers in the hand ones. The hand ones, I think they're about $25 to $30 each. I got two of them. They come with these little foam pieces that help prevent wind in an outside environment. They work really well. This is the piece that was dangling off the phone just now. And I have the Rode receiver with the cable from Rode, then a converter to go to an iPhone, and then I have a little T adapter so it doesn't sit and go in sideways and wear out that cable. So that was hanging off the iPhone just a little bit. I don't know. You can get a shoe, cold shoe adapter to plug on your tripod or whatever. It's just one more thing. And all these little connectors, that's one more thing to go wrong. Even though the Rode might be in totally great condition, I have had this little Rode converter cable where it takes a certain type of a cord to an iPhone, and I've had that go wrong. So nothing wrong with the microphone receiver, but there was something wrong with the cable. So just a little bit more on that. Now I'm going to use the original microphone, and that's what I'm using right now, to talk about the next two, and then I'm going to demonstrate the next two. This next one here, I'm going to show you what it is. I found this one on Amazon as well, about 30 bucks, 40 bucks, depends. No real brand that I can find, but I did like it. And I'll tell you why. Came with a little cable, charge cable, in a case that was kind of all in one. This is just for an iPhone. So it has the lightning adapter here. And then two microphones. That's the receiver. These are transmitters. They have power buttons, so when you take them out, you do need to turn them on. And when I turn them on, I get the little red and green light flashing. When I plug it into the phone, these both turn green. It's great. The microphone on these is where the LED light is flashing. When I plug it into the phone, that turns green, but then the microphone requires that that part faces outward, and now you got a green light. What I've done on this also has a green light. You can see it here. I turn it inward. It's a little bit distracting. It's not the end of the world. Again, for consumer level, I wouldn't even say prosumer, but consumer level, this is fine. I don't like the LED. I turn it inside out. It doesn't affect the audio on this one. You can hear it's about the same. So that doesn't have that. I have to face this one out. Not bad. I'm going to demonstrate that here in a second, and then I'm going to demonstrate finally my favorite of these, which is the DJI wireless microphone kit. This, by far the most expensive, more expensive than the Rode kit. We're right about there. I think this is about $350. The Rode kit, all in with all this stuff, was probably about $350 with the hand wands and such. This I don't have hand wands for. This has in it the receiver, 2 transmitters, and the transmitters then also are nicely nestled in this box that has an adapter for an Android, USB-C, and an adapter for Lightning for your Apple. So this kit, all in one, charge kit, lasts forever. I can adjust these LEDs. What I do is, you see 2 of them on right now. One's red and one's green. The red means that it's recording, and it's recording on board. Right now, this is recording my voice. It's not plugged into any device. So there's a backup recording. Say something goes wrong between here and that phone on the receiver, it's going to be on here. I can access that recording. I can do 1 or 2. I'm going to put one of them away right now. That's now going to be sitting and charging. Another cool thing about this, it's got a little magnet. Magnet can go on the bottom. It can now be a stand. Stands by itself. Or I can take the magnet, do 2 things. Of course, I can clip this onto my lapel, kind of hide it. Pretty hidden, but not totally. I can take the magnet and have this thing facing up towards me externally, as such. Or I could take the magnet, put it on the outside, and you can't see this microphone. Obviously, if there's closed movement, there's going to be some rustle, tussle, some like not good noise. But if the person is relatively stationary, it works. If they have long hair, this will actually insulate from the long hair scraping across this. So I like the system. It's a good system. It's very sound, and I'm about to give you a demonstration. First on the Amazon Cheapie version, $40, and then finally on the DJI. Okay, so this is this Amazon kit. All in one, houses the additional microphone that I'm not using right now. It charges it, fits nicely. It is only for an iPhone. It's got a lightning adapter. It sits right here. I can turn it inward. I'm going to turn it inward now. So I don't know what it sounds like. I don't know if it's more muffled. I'm going to back up. I'm going to walk away a little bit and see if you hear the noise rustling and tussling as I walk. There's a little bit of movement here. Don't know if it's scraping. So I would probably put it right here just to be safe so that I didn't have the shuffling noise. I would probably put the LED on the outside like this, and it works really, really well. I haven't found this one yet to fail, but I've only just started using it. I think I've probably done about 20 different recordings with it. So we'll see right now. It's a great solution for about $40. And I'm about to move into the audio test with the DJI. That's the receiver, which is going to be plugged into the phone. I'm going to show you how this works before I do it. So this can take either USB-C or the Lightning adapter. It's a little arrow, and you push that on, and you hear a little click. I have found the click sometimes isn't totally clicked. I heard the click, but then I plug it into the phone, no audio. So always, and what we're doing on this, we're doing a little audio test before I start recording with the next microphone to make sure that it's connected and it actually works. So always do that first before you start your 5, 10, 15, 20-minute recording, or even your 1-minute recording. That's a great testimonial from a patient that you're probably not going to be able to get from them again. So always do the audio test. We're about to plug this into the phone, and then we're going to take one of these microphones and we'll see how it compares in comparison to my new favorite from Amazon. That's the cheapie version. Okay, and finally, my favorite, the DJI wireless microphone kit. It's plugged into the phone, and what you can't see right now is it's got a visual that shows the audio meter. So as Boston is recording me right now, he can see that this is actually working, which means it's being received at the receiver. It doesn't mean it's actually being received at the phone. We did an audio test, and we just found out that it wasn't recording because we hadn't powered on the receiver. So we powered on the receiver. It's supposed to just power on when I take it out of the case. It didn't, but that's fine. So this is with one of the mics. There's another one in here. I'm going to leave that one in here. I'm going to back up a little bit, and we're just going to test the audio and the range, which this microphone is known for having an amazing amount of range and keeping its quality. I have it right now tucked in so the LED can't be seen visually. Of course, you can see a little bit of the microphone, but I'm walking around. And my understanding is that I could do this for 200 or 300 meters. But what's really cool, say something did go wrong, say there was interference that came in between, I've got the recording local on the microphone. Now, I did have to set that setting up. That setting, something you have to go into the menu and make sure that it records, or I press a button. It's got a little button on the side that says record, and I'll show you that here in a second. I have it set up to where I don't need to set that point up. The second I pull this thing out, I'll show you what it looks like on the other microphone. Right now you see it's green, means that it's connected over there. When I do this, it vibrated, and then that little red button came on automatically. I could also press the record button, and the red button goes off, the red light goes off because the recording's off. I could click it again, and it starts recording locally. It's recording inside that device. And I just think that's really cool. When I put it back in the case, it stops recording. I close that case. This one's rolling. Works great. Now, let's see what it looks like or sounds like, excuse me, when I take the magnet and I set up on the desk in front of me. So, yeah, patient testimonial. Yeah, my experience here at ABC Family Dentistry is, boy, these guys are fantastic. I came in, I was nervous, they put my mind at ease. I think I was over at that part of the building and I was shaking like a leaf, and then I came over here to this operatory over there. You see, because sometimes patients, they turn their head, and when they turn their head, they're not directionally aiming at that microphone. So we'll see what that sounds like. Ideally, this is attached, and the microphone is pointing right up at the person's face. Now, this also, like the Rode microphone, has an input for an external lavalier. So I could have a lavalier mic that has a cord, plugs into this little microphone cord, comes up, and it just sticks out, and this thing's sitting down on my belt or whatever. It's a great kit. I would say, quality-wise, sits at the top. The Rode Wireless Go 2, I would say, sits just beneath it. And then these things, you know, great if you're not going to get too serious and upset if you lose your recording or something isn't perfect. If your time is money, and if you get really frustrated because a recording isn't perfect and you want it right, I wouldn't waste my time. I'd spend a little extra money and go with the DJI kit. It is my favorite, and I hope you get an understanding of what you could do. I think part of why I like this is that everything I need is sitting right here. I've got the adapter for the iPhone right there. I've got an adapter for an Android. This can also plug into my computer, my MacBook, or my PC at home. I can literally take that receiver, plug it in, and it's viewed as an external audio device. I could be walking around on a Zoom call, you know, doing a presentation in the back of my studio, and it's really just multifaceted, and it could be used anywhere and everywhere. The best thing about it, very much like the Rode, is it does have onboard recording, so no matter what happens, you got your recording sitting right on the transmitter. just in case. So those are my thoughts and my tips, and I hope this was helpful.